Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Today I'm answering a viewer question. And if you have a question for me, you can leave a comment on one of my videos or you can send me an email. This email came in just a few days ago, but it actually went to our spam folder. So if you ask a question and I don't respond to you in a timely manner, please send the question again or just write on the comments that you sent me an email. I don't know exactly why or how it got lost, but it was in there. So anyway, I had a viewer ask me about nursing. The viewer has a 3-month-old and just found out she's pregnant again. So congratulations on that. And she wants to know how to be able to nurse as long as possible, hoping through the whole pregnancy. So I'm going to be very honest. I have never nursed through an entire pregnancy. I have nursed to very close to the end of some pregnancies. And a lot of pregnancies, I'm done nursing when I'm about 6 or 7 months pregnant. But my kids have a much bigger age span than getting pregnant at 3 months. So most of my children are 2 to 2.5 years apart. So by the time I'm about to have that next baby, I have a child who's over 2 and we've already started slowly weaning. So I'm giving you information that is good for any nursing mom at any time, but I cannot give specific information about nursing through an entire pregnancy. I think the longest I nursed would have been Naomi. And I think I was like 5 weeks from my due date when I weaned her officially. But then that baby was born early. So it was only about 2 weeks that I wasn't nursing. But I have been nursing and or pregnant for the past 19 plus years. Because Naomi's 19. And so from the time I got pregnant with her till now, actually, wait, no, there was a little gap in there because of Joshua, our stillborn baby. I wasn't nursing or pregnant for 8 weeks. Then I got pregnant again. So I can't give you specific information about nursing all the way through. But like I said, I made it almost to the end and I had chose to stop nursing. So these things are important for all nursing moms. Number 1, supply and demand. There are a lot of people in our culture now who feel for various reasons that babies should be on a schedule. And that is not how nature works. That's not how God created our bodies to be. You can look at, I know we're not just animals, we are people. I'm not saying we're the exact same. But if you look at other mammals who feed their babies milk, babies are fed when they ask to be fed. Moms don't have them on a clock, on a schedule, anything like that. And how our bodies make milk is when baby is nursing at the breast, your body says, I need to make milk for this child who's feeding. When you are done nursing, I know a lot of moms who try to gauge how much milk they're making by how much they can pump after baby's done eating. But anything that you're pumping after is milk that your baby didn't need because they stopped eating, if that makes sense. So your body's not going to continue to make milk when your baby just had a full feeding. So if you nurse your baby and then you pump, and you only get an ounce, it means that your body's not creating a whole lot extra, but it's not supposed to be because your body's supposed to be making milk for the baby who is actively nursing. Now, pumps are made to help stimulate the milk and trying to be as close to possible as a baby nursing, but your body does not respond the exact same way to a pump as it does nursing because there's all the good hormones that are working because when you're holding your baby, you're having that release of oxytocin, you're having the smell of your baby helps with all of that, looking in your baby's face, which you just don't get pumping, especially if you are pumping you're off at work and you're pumping, so you're not even with your baby, your body's not going to produce in the same way. If you drop a feeding, your body's going to say, I don't need to make milk at this time. So let's say, I saw an interesting example of this. It was 2 bottles next to each other, and it was pouring milk in for each time. So let's say a baby is given 4 ounces of milk every 3 hours. I'm just making up the number here. So if you're on a schedule, baby's going to get 4 ounces here, going to get 4 ounces here, going to get 4 ounces here. But if you're nursing on demand, baby might take an ounce now and then take 3 ounces later and then 2 ounces after that. But baby feeding on demand is going to get all the nutrition they need. You're not going to say, oh, they didn't finish their bottle, but it's not time to eat again for 3 hours. Or say, oh, the bottle's empty and the baby doesn't seem that hungry, so I'm not going to make another bottle. When you're nursing your baby from the breast, you tend to wait. I mean, there are times that you're like, okay, I have 10 minutes to nurse, then I have to get them in the car so we can get to the appointment. I'm saying like on a normal basis, you nurse your baby until they are done and they latch off. So they may have taken in 4 ounces. They may have taken in 6 ounces. They may have only taken in 3 ounces, but they took in what their body needed. And your body knows that baby is going to need this much milk when they latch on again, if that makes sense. Your body isn't storing, okay, I've got 4 ounces worth of milk saved for the next 3 hour period, like you would if you're doing bottle feeding. Whether it's breast milk or formula, you are only putting a certain amount of milk in that bottle. So if you're pumping, you may pump a lot, like your body may produce a lot for the pump. My body does not produce much at all for a pump. It produces plenty for my babies, but not much for a pump. But again, the supply and demand. If you're putting baby on a schedule, you are more likely to lose your milk supply, and that is for any mom. Next, nutrition is super important. And I see so many moms. This is not about this mom in particular because I don't know her or anything like that. But there are so many moms that once baby gets to 6 weeks or once baby gets to 3 months, moms start eating differently to try to get back in shape, to try to get their bodies to look like what they looked like before pregnancy. The thing is, your body has gone through an amazing life growing miracle. Your body has done everything it needs to do to sustain you and a whole nother person. And your body is going to look different after you have babies than it did before. We all know the person who, without doing anything, has their baby and they're back into their regular jeans within 2 weeks. My sister wore the exact same pair of jeans the entire pregnancy. How she gained weight, it was not there. And she wore those exact same jeans. So I'm not saying this is for every person, but the average woman, her body changes when she gets pregnant to sustain that life. And your body is going to continue to look different, probably for the rest of your life, unless you are doing things to really cut the calories and to really exercise and all of that. And I am not saying that exercise is bad. I am not saying it is bad if you get back to your pre-pregnancy body. But doing that can really reduce your milk supply because your body needs nutrients. Your body actually needs more calories to nurse the baby than to grow the baby on the inside. So you need to make sure that the food that you're putting in is nutrient dense. So I'm not saying you can't have that piece of chocolate cake. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying make sure you're not cutting calories because you want to lose weight, because your body needs those calories to feed the baby. So if you're looking to be healthy, which I think is important for all of us to be healthy, I'm not talking about the occasional snack, but I'm talking about the food that you're putting in on a regular basis being nutrient dense. So making sure you're eating the fruits and the veggies, not filling up on, the big green salad so it makes you feel full, but you need that many calories, but really putting in the nutrient dense things. So like sweet potato, berries, I'm trying to think, like meat, eggs, cheese, putting in those things that are adding calories. Don't worry about counting calories when you have just had a baby. And again, if you have a medical condition and you're working with your doctor, that's different. But I've seen so many moms who baby gets to a certain age and they start doing the low carb tortillas. They start saying, no, I'm not going to eat that slice of whole wheat bread with my meal. But whole wheat bread has a lot of really good vitamins and minerals in it that your body needs too. So cutting out food groups to make your body change might not be helping with the milk supply to get your baby the nutrition they need. Next one is hydration and electrolytes. So your body needs a lot of water a lot of fluid to make the milk. The milk you make is, I don't even know what percentage water, but it's a lot of water. It's very liquidy. And your body is going to take what it needs to supply the baby. This is how our bodies work. If you are not getting enough calcium, this goes back to nutrition. If you are not getting enough calcium during pregnancy, the baby's, like your placenta, the growth of the baby and everything, will actually take calcium from your bones if you're not getting enough, because your body is working to help that baby survive and is going to give the baby the things they need. So if your body is making milk, you're nursing your baby, your body's going to try to take all of that it can have. But your body itself needs water to help everything go. You've got blood, that's how you get waste out of your body. You're sweating, all of those things. Your body needs fluid. And so if you're only taking in enough for yourself, your body has a hard time having enough to also make a good milk supply. So making sure you're getting enough hydration, that can be through water. If newly pregnant, sometimes it's very hard to drink just plain water. So maybe this is flavored water, like putting lemon in your drink or fruit of some kind in your drink. Maybe this is I've had a point where I really couldn't keep much down, and Gatorade, I know that's not the greatest thing, best nutrition, but it was what I could keep down at the time. Bone broth is another really good thing. Things that are full of water, fruit. A lot of times women can eat fruit early pregnancy, even if they have food aversions to other things. So think things like watermelon or cantaloupe, things that are very wet. And electrolytes are very important. Your body needs salt and magnesium and other things to help the water get to your cells, because you don't want to just drink water and pee it out. That helps with getting the wastes out of your body, but it doesn't help to thoroughly hydrate you down to the cellular level. So some women do great just with having a good whole food diet and taking in water. But I am one in particular, if I drink a lot of water, it gives me a headache and I don't actually get hydrated all the way down to the cellular level. I just have to pee often and get a headache. So see what your body needs. But some of those things, like the fruit, will help get you a lot of electrolytes. Bone broth would help get you a lot of electrolytes. So thinking in terms of getting liquid into your body, not necessarily pure water. Another thing that a lot of women can handle in pregnancy, because pure water can be, just if you're nauseous, it's sometimes hard to drink enough water. Things like herbal teas, not things that have herbs that are bad for pregnancy, but things that are like a peach tea or something that just gives some flavor to your water. And then the last thing is rest and stress management, which when you have a 3-month-old, I know rest can be very hard, but finding ways throughout your day that you can decompress, you can let out everything from your brain. I'm not saying clear your brain and new age meditation. I'm not saying that, but things where you can sit and do something that helps you just enjoy. Something that you don't have to think about, something that you enjoy, something that allows you to kind of de-stress from the day. So maybe that's sitting down and doing an adult coloring book. Maybe it's sitting down and reading a book or reading scriptures. Hopefully you're doing that besides just, I need to decompress. Maybe it's doing a puzzle, maybe it's talking to your spouse, but finding things during the day that help you to de-stress, and also finding things, my hubby's back there, also finding things during the day that help you rest. So I know it's hard when you have a little one to think, I also need to rest during the day, because people say sleep when the baby sleeps. Well, when they're little, you'd be sleeping all day and not getting anything done. But making sure that there are times that, okay, when baby takes their afternoon nap after lunch, I'm going to lay down and close my eyes for a little bit. Even if you don't go to sleep, just the act of letting your body totally relax. There's so much on our plate as a mom that we need to work rest into our day. And we live in a culture where being productive is really important. We put all of our self-worth on the idea of, did I accomplish enough today? But if you are a mom, especially in this situation, the lady that I'm talking to, you have a 3-month-old and you are growing a baby, even if you get nothing done during the day except for taking care of the outside baby's needs and then the inside baby's needs, you have accomplished a ton for the day, even if no dishes get washed, even if nothing happens. And I'm not saying to not do any household chores anymore or anything, but remember that rest is productive too. God has given us rest for a reason. That's why we are careful to take our Sundays as a rest day. We try to do limited amounts of chores and everything because God gave us rest. Rest was there in creation before work was started. Rest was there before sin entered the world. Rest is something that God has given us, and we as a culture view everyone else, but they didn't do enough. They didn't do this. The fact that you are growing 2 more whole people, you're doing a ton of work every day. And so remember that rest is important. So I hope that was helpful for this viewer. Again, if you have questions, feel free to leave questions down below or in an email. And if I don't get back to you, please write back. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. Sometimes things just get lost in the web. So we'll see you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God.